Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's your girl, Foreign's the fiance.
And we are back. Back, like we never ever left.
Yeah, that's quite apt, considering this is a 90s set documentary.
Oh, well, there we go. It's almost like I knew.
It's almost like you knew. This doc is...
Yeah, what are your thoughts? Let's do it like first impression. What are your thoughts on the documentary?
So I know this case. I've listened to 2 podcasts on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew the case before we did it. I hadn't watched the documentary, but fucking Netflix. Okay, Netflix does way too much. Something that could easily be 30 minutes or 45 minutes then turns into an hour. And Netflix, you lose me, because I find myself picking my phone up for a lot of these filler things.
Yeah.
I just really want you to get to the point, tell me about the shit, and let's move on to something else. Do you know what? This is why I really like, if you go on the ID channel, they have all these crime shows like Southern Fried Crime, Blood Sisters, Snapped, Women Who Kill. I like
Was it the devil you know?
Yeah, and Death Comes to the Neighborhood. Even that one's a bit long. But I like these shows because they tell you about the crime and then they're done with it. This one will go on and on, be telling you nonsense, be telling you about people's past lives that you don't even need to... Like, I don't want to know all of this stuff. And
I feel like there's a difference between, like, going in depth and telling us the story, and the difference between wasting our time, because I think like 45 minutes is a sweet spot. I think that is enough time to
in the middle
pace the documentary well enough, beginning, middle and end. Like, what is the aim of the documentary? Like, what do you want the viewer to have learned or gleaned by the time the documentary finishes? Okay, cool. So how do we go from 0 minutes to 45 minutes and do all of that in that time? Like, I just don't think that we need all the extra stuff, because like you said, like, first of all, I get it, people's attention spans are definitely less nowadays, but also it's kind of like I'm picking up my phone, and when I'm picking up my phone, I know and obviously that's also a habit, but when I'm watching something, when I'm like enthralled with something, or I'm really into something, or I feel like something is moving at the right pace, I'm not picking up my phone. I'm not. I'm just not.
Like, before we watched Night Stalker, we actually watched the Crack documentary on Netflix.
Which one?
It's called Crack.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's basically just shows how the crack epidemic in America, like how it affected the Black community. They had
I think it's on my list.
Yeah, they had like old drug dealers, they had that Ricky Ross guy, they had old users, they had all sorts of people, and everything was relevant, everyone necessary, everyone served a purpose. I feel like in some of the, and do you know what, this was definitely not the worst of them all. The worst for me was Night Stalker, but this sidebar, I cannot stop seeing that Richard Ramirez's face, like, in my mind's eye. Like, I dreamt about him last night as well.
It was definitely terrifying. Yeah, it didn't penetrate deep enough, because I think by the time we got to who it was, I was kind of like, oh, finally, and then and then it didn't really like scare me as much.
But Netflix, it's too long. This, especially when you have a series like this, each episode, just make it 30-45 minutes.
You could actually just do 30. You're doing 4 episodes, 30 minutes each. That's 2 hours. You don't need 2 hours to tell that story.
Literally, it's too much. It's 45 minutes.
Too much. Yeah, 45 minutes.
In the middle.
45 minutes. Yeah, you got me. But then it is very much Netflix, because there are some BBC documentaries that will be like 59 minutes and it doesn't feel the same way. That Incels one was like 50 minutes or something.
But everything was relevant.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe it's not so much the time, but it is kind of the time, because you've added all this extra shit, so the time is longer.
So it could have been shorter. Literally, in the Night Stalker one, they kept showing these cats and then a mouse, and then like a lot of it was just like, what the fuck are you doing? And with this, there were a lot of inserts that we didn't need, and I don't know, but okay, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So the documentary opens up with this guy like stroking a cat, and it's really creepy, and he's talking to the cat, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like,
how did we get here?
How did we get here? And we learn that his name is Frank Amador. Is it Amador or Amateur? Amador, okay, cool. And his brother is Scott Amador, who was murdered in 1995 after being on the Jenny Jones show. So this was like a talk show and kind of like, yeah, trash show. And we get a bit more into the show as well. So we kind of learn a bit about Scott's personality. He always wanted to be in the limelight. And Frank says that he found out Scott was gay quite early on, so whilst Scott was in service, and it wasn't a problem at all for the family, which I was pleasantly surprised by, because especially considering the time, and it seems like quite a small place where they live, I kind of thought, there's no way this went down well, but they all really seemed to be fine.
It just wasn't that deep. It literally was like, oh, I'm gay, alright, cool.
Okay, cool, like,
I'm straight,
what's for dinner?
okay.
Yeah, literally, what's for dinner? So we learned that the killer was a man called Jonathan Smits, who was 24 years old, and he worked at a restaurant. So Jonathan and Scott knew each other through this woman called Donna Riley, and Donna Riley looks like how you'd expect somebody to go on one of these shows to look.
Yeah.
Like, if you've ever watched Jerry Springer, she could have been on that couch just as easily. Yeah. That's how she looks. So you guys can imagine that.
Take from that what you will.
Literally. So they met because Donna Riley lived in the same apartment building as Jonathan and Jonathan's brother Frank. No, sorry, Scott's brother Frank. So obviously when Scott would...
Wait, Donna lives with Jonathan in the same building as Jonathan?
Apartment, yeah, and then...
And also Scott's brother.
Frank, yeah. Literally. So obviously when Scott would come round to do stuff with Frank and help with Donna with stuff, because he was quite handy around the house, Jonathan would then interact with Scott. So that's how they all knew each other.
They kind of knew each other, yeah.
Trio. So Scott loved the Jenny Jones show and watched it regularly, and he also liked Jonathan. So Jenny Jones does this whole thing where she puts out this ad and she's like, do you like somebody who's of the same sex? Come on our show and tell them. And there's an element of, why would you ever go on this show? And there's also an element of, why is this entertainment? I know it's pot calling kettle black because I watch a lot of reality TV, but at the same time, why? Kind of thing. So he calls off the Jenny Jones show and he's like, okay, I want to come
on here.
Tell somebody that I like them. So the Jenny Jones show then contacted Jonathan and is obviously like, bring. He's like, hello. And he's like, they're like, yeah, someone likes you. Do you want to come on the show?
Could be a man, could be a woman.
Could be, who's to say? So he's like, okay, cool, I'll roll through.
No, I don't think I would ever go.
No, I would be like,
but
okay,
if you like me, come
you.
with your chest and come tell me now.
Exactly. I don't even want somebody that needs to take me on the show to tell me.
Yeah, trust me.
You are not the man for me.
Yeah.
So we meet our first talking head, or one of the important ones, James Bernick, and he is Jonathan's defense attorney. So he says,
Jonathan Schmitz had a very gentle soul. I mean, he was a real nice, sweet, decent guy who was manipulated, used, pushed around, tormented, and triggered into doing something terrible.
And it's like, this guy is a murderer. So let's not...
I don't really know how else to really say it. Like,
let's not...
I understand that there are reasons behind murder, but that doesn't make it any less murderous.
Exactly. Let's not, human... Okay, not that murderers aren't humans, but let's not try
and not that people don't make mistakes, but let's not absolve this human of, the responsibility.
It's literally just what we were saying with the I shot my parents about, okay, he made a mistake, but let's not victimize him. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. You're not a victim. Well,
exactly.
We get into that later on.
But this case is tough.
You're not a victim of murder.
Yeah. So we now learn a bit more about the time that this whole thing was set in, and it was the 90s, and we were moving. This was the beginning of the reality TV sector, and it kind of started off with trashy TV. So before the Kardashians, Paris and Nicole do Life, or whatever it was that show was called, Geordie Shore, we had trashy TV. And it was called
daytime TV.
Literally. And it was daytime. And it was called Ambush TV. So the whole kind of concept of Ambush TV was a show where the topic of what people were being called to come and participate in was not known to the participants. It functioned on emotional drama and catharsis. And so you needed people who would be easily manipulated into performing
and react. Literally,
you literally needed a very specific kind of person. Because for me, if by chance I found myself on the Jerry Springer couch, you will not know what I'm feeling as that thing is happening.
Nothing out of me.
Because I am not disgracing myself on TV for nobody. So, and especially when you're not being cut a check.
That's what I'm saying. You usually come to tell me I'm sleeping with your man. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Okay, well.
No, well, good to meet you.
Is there a Burger King around here, or
is
it
this
Wendy's?
Do I leave this way?
Thank you. Literally, you're not even paying me. I would understand if people were being paid, but these people are not being paid.
Which is why things like Geordie Shore and that make more sense, because you can definitely leverage your appearance on one of these shows. Exactly. How do you leverage an appearance on Maury? How do you do that?
Literally. Do you think I remember the only person I remember is the woman whose husband was cheating on her with her friend, and then she said, well, I'm cheating on you and I don't know if the 3 kids are yours, and then the guy fainted.
Yeah.
But I didn't even know her name. I could walk past her on the street, but I just remember the clip.
You just remember the story.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you people do? What is the reason? Literally, what is the reason? Guys, if you're one of the people that you think you could go on this show, can you comment when we post this and just let us know why you would go, so we could...
Yeah, just tweet us at 2girls1doc
or tweet us
2G1D, and just tell us if you think you could go on this show.
Because not me.
I don't... Why would I do that?
No ma'am, no sir.
And the thing is, it's not like someone tells you, oh yeah, come meet me at Las Iguanas, we'll go
and then you
for
don't
lunch.
know
and
that
then you get there and then you end up like, no, meet me here. You get flown out, yeah? You get flued out, all expenses is paid for, yeah? And like, you know where you're going. So I just think,
what the hell?
Just say no.
And literally, whenever I'd see those shows, and I'd think, so obviously, when this guy is telling you, oh, come on, Maury, you obviously know that he's telling you to come because he's either cheating on you. He's not coming. Yeah. He's not asking you to come in to propose. So why do you go to disgrace?
It's not good crazy. News, yeah. And it's like also like they don't invite you today and then you go tomorrow. You're telling me you didn't see this person in all this time. You didn't speak to them. You didn't say.
You didn't ask them.
What is the problem?
I used to think they were all actors for that specific reason.
I used to think that too.
But now I just know.
I don't know. Maybe initially I don't think they were, but I think maybe as a result of cases like this, they hired actors. Yeah.
So we now see a clip from the Scott episode where he's come to reveal his crush to Jonathan.
John. Mm-hmm.
And before Jonathan comes out, Scott's just saying how attracted he is to Jonathan, and he's on stage with Jonathan, and with Donna, and he's just saying the things he would do to Jonathan, which are quite sexually explicit.
Mm-hmm.
So Jonathan comes out and is told almost immediately, like he comes out, he's happy, he hugs Donna, he then goes to shake Scott's hand, and then there's this really awkward hug. And then he sits in his seat, and almost immediately he's told that your crush is Scott, and I was like, I like his reaction, because you could tell that he is not comfortable.
He's uncomfortable, yeah, but
he kind of laughs it off. And then Jonathan is showing this clip of Scott saying that he would tie him up to a hammock and spray him with cream and strawberries and lick it off. And this is, for me, my feelings about this are not about like anyone's sexuality. It's purely about, this is just inappropriate. Like if I was put to stage and someone was like, they're in love with me, and it was a guy and he was saying all this, I would find it very disturbing. I
agree.
And we see Jenny, who keeps like pushing, kind of thing. She keeps pushing to get more from them. Like, oh, how are you feeling?
She's like antagonizing him.
Yeah, like oh, let's play that. And you can see that John is doing that thing where like you're uncomfortable, but you're smiling because you don't want to show out.
You're smiling through it.
Literally smiling through the pain. But I think all in all, I'd say he handles it well. Like I think he handled that situation as well, and the way I would liken it to, I'd say he handled it the way you handle being told somebody who likes you and you don't like them back. Like, he wasn't disrespectful, he wasn't rude, he was
like, I don't want to be rude, I'm very polite, but I'm also very uncomfortable, and also I don't like you back, so and that's okay.
That's okay. So some talking heads obviously analyse the clip, and they also kind of highlight the fact that Jonathan looks really uncomfortable. And the shift is now starting to move to, the blames are starting to shift to Jenny, and kind of just saying to her that, like, she was kind of goating this thing on, asking, like we said, provocative questions. So she kind of sets up the perfect environment for something to happen. Because, to be fair, when you think about the context of these shows, what she was looking for was an overreaction and conflict. That's what people come to see. So she may not have gotten it there, but it's the purpose of the show.
I agree with that.
So we learn how after the show everyone is still hanging out, and you know, that nobody has any inkling that Jonathan's unhappy. They're still chilling, kind of thing. Everything's cool. So on the
They
third
even fly
day,
home together.
Yeah, they fly home together, go for drinks, everything. So on the third day, Scott left a note on Jonathan's door, which is quite provocative. We don't get told exactly what's in it, but there's just some stuff in there that's obviously, again, quite sexual. And Jonathan then loses it at this point. So he calmly goes to withdraw cash. He buys a gun. And then he goes to Scott's house. They have an interaction. And eventually he shoots Scott.
Yep.
So we're back with Frank now. And he says, obviously, he got the call. And then he went over to the house. He was just, you know, functioning on adrenaline. The detectives tell him that it's best that the family gets a lawyer because this is going to be a media circus, obviously, because it's linked to a TV show.
Yeah, to a TV show, yeah. And that kind of TV show as well.
Literally. And it quickly, like, you see a montage of, like, other spectators or onlookers or witnesses kind of talking about this, and they're like, oh yeah, it's, you know, it's linked to the Jenny Jones.
Yeah, the episode hasn't come out yet. We were waiting to see it.
Yeah, it comes out so quickly. I was quite surprised by that, especially because, like you said, the episode hadn't come out.
I don't think it ever came out, you know. I don't think they ever aired it.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
So we learned that Jonathan called the
But
police.
then also, like, I feel like less people would know about this had he not killed him. Like, the fact that he killed him, like, more people knew about.
Yeah, but you're not thinking that way when you're doing something like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's true.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, for me, if you murder someone, like, because they've done something to you that you don't like, okay, like they cheated on you or whatever, it's not thinking long term, because long term, you're going to be in prison.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
And they're still sleeping with other people.
Fam. So we actually learned that Jonathan himself called the police and confessed, stating that it was because he'd been embarrassed on TV. And we actually hear the call, and Jonathan sounds extremely distressed. He's crying, and, you know, he's just really upset about
he's 24. Like, remember, he's actually 24 years old.
Literally. And his defense attorney is just saying, you know, does this seem like a guy who wants to go around shooting people? He obviously knew what he did was wrong, and he went out knowing that he deserved to be punished, kind of thing, hence calling the police.
He literally shot him and called the police on himself.
Literally. So from the court trials, we learned that Jonathan was bipolar, depressed, from an abusive childhood, and had Graves' disease. And Frank is kind of saying that, okay, cool, I hear you, but I also have Graves' disease, and I didn't kill anyone. So
which is okay. Just strike that one out from the record, because what is this? Oh, it's like saying, oh yeah, and he has asthma and he has high blood pressure and he got a paper cut in 1992. Like, and so.
And the thing that I really don't like is that, you know, a lot of people complain about this, advocates for, like, obviously mental health and things. They just say when you use these things as like a defense in court, it demonizes people with these like mental health disorders, because there are loads of people who have bipolar and all sorts of mental health like issues that are able to function. You know, they may not be normally quote unquote, but they're able to function and not go around killing and attacking people.
Exactly.
So when you give them people a blight based off of this, it's not the best.
Exactly.
On the flip side, I do understand that these things affect people differently. So just because
No, it's true, but I also think it stigmatizes those with those disorders. Like, oh, this guy had bipolar disorder and he killed someone, and then I come and say, yeah, I've got bipolar disorder. Oh, ooh, are you gonna kill me? Or are you more prone to? But like you said, people do have different ways of dealing with things. People do have their thresholds. It's all different and stuff.
It's all different.
I mean, I get it, but also, like, at the end of the day, you shot someone and you killed that person, and you cannot blame that solely on, even if your mental health is a contributing factor, which I no doubt it is, that your mental health affects every part of your life, but that's not the only reason you did it. Like,
exactly,
do you know what I mean?
Can't be a defense.
Exactly.
So we kind of delve into this area of what I would consider victim blaming, and obviously it's from Jonathan's defense attorney, which I guess,
so of course,
makes sense. So basically, he's saying that Jonathan was pushed too far from the embarrassment, and that Scott was kind of asking for it. Like, you know, he had said on the show he wasn't interested in him. They all went back. Scott was then still, you know, kind of trying to push him, sending him notes, basically saying that you don't want me, but I'm still going to do what I want.
I'm interested in you still, yeah.
Yeah, and you have to just deal with that. And then also, like, I don't really, not that I didn't understand this, but I didn't see this as an excuse. When Jonathan went to Scott's house and knocked on the door, obviously they got into some sort of confrontation when Scott saw the gun, and then he picked up a wicker chair which his...
This was just this defense attorney just being a dickhead, because
Yeah.
I'm holding a chair, you're holding a gun. Are you telling me that you were so threatened by me
Fam.
holding this chair that you shot me? Is that what you're trying to say?
Back with the lions in the sun.
With a shot, fam, the lions and the sun, like literally a shotgun, not a little cheeky water gun or a Nerf gun or a pistol. Are you telling me even if you had shot him through that wicker chair, I'm pretty sure he would have still been hit? So how are you coming to say, oh, he picked up? And also, someone comes to your house with a gun. Clearly, the wicker chair was the closest thing, and you just picked it up and you were like trying to figure out how to. What damage would you really have done? And the thing is, his brother makes a really good point earlier on, and he's like, people think that, oh, you know, just because you're gay, like, you're wimpy or you're weak or whatever. She was like, I guarantee if Jonathan had showed up without a gun, Scott would still be here today. He would have whipped his ass.
Literally. So James Bernick again is back, and he tells us that he managed to get the judge to include lesser offences, such as second-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, discharge of a weapon in city limits, which is a 2-year misdemeanor.
That discharge of weapon, resulting in death or injury. I was like, wait,
but it's all root. Though. Also, at the end of the day, all of these things are rooted in homophobia, because why would he include this? It's very much.
I think the fact that they included these options is definitely rooted in homophobia, but the fact that this is a like discharge of weapon resulting in death or injury. It's like,
I mean, it's possible.
I mean, I get that it's possible. It's relevant in that other cases, but like,
but not this one.
Use that here. To use that here is like, huh? To discharge is as if, oh shit, the gun went off. The gun went off in this case because you pulled the trigger. The gun, you brought it with you. It's not like it was just chilling in your car and that's just where guns stay. Like, you brought it out of your house into your car all the way to his house. And you shot him. Yeah, and you shot him.
Deary.
Ugh.
So the verdict finally comes back, and it's for second-degree murder. And we actually see one of the jurors on the Larry King show. Her name is Joyce O'Brien, and she says this. Because Larry asked her if she likes, if she liked Jonathan.
Did she like him? Yeah.
And then he said, oh, and by the way, rest in peace, Larry King.
Yeah, rest in peace, Larry King.
I can't believe he's gone. Like, it's so crazy. All the people you grew up with are dying.
Yeah. I feel like this is the first, like, celebrity to die this year, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, we are how many weeks into the year?
That's what I'm saying. We're doing all right, because this normally, like, it's pretty quick. People start dying.
It's
honestly.
True. So she's gotten asked if she liked him, because obviously people want to understand why the jurors, went the way they went.
Yeah,
this heifer says, absolutely.
This bitch.
Did you like Jonathan?
Absolutely. I told my husband right after the trial started that I wouldn't even mind having a son like that. I think he's a wonderful person, and it's just it's an unhappy set of circumstances.
And no, honey, what that is homophobia. Because if he had murdered, if a woman, okay, an overweight woman,
if Donna had been the one to
say, if Donna had been the one to say, and he'd murdered her, nobody would be giving him a blight.
Yeah, nobody would want a son like him.
Literally. But because he's a gay guy, it's like, oh, just another one of those gays. Like,
yeah,
of course I understand.
He shouldn't have come across, he shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have
told him.
And the people have this thing with, like, gay guys wanting, like, being attracted to every single kind of man. Like, I'm sorry, who do you think you are?
Who do you think?
In this situation, obviously he was. But he may not have been also.
It's like the gay panic. And also, can I just say
the gay panic defense.
Can I just say, the gay panic defense was... So, the thing I didn't like about this documentary, but I mean, I guess it was because of the direction they wanted to take it. Mm-hmm. The gay panic defense was actually a major part of...
that case.
This case, James's defense. Like, literally, it was the...
Who's James?
James is the lawyer.
Oh, the lawyer. Yeah, sorry. I didn't write down no names.
the gay panic defense was actually the main part of his defense,
but they
didn't talk about it at all. But I guess it's because they more wanted to focus on the whole
about the show, innit?
Yeah, show, and then going into, I guess it was trial by media, and also going into the to them, the civil suit.
I get what you mean. Yeah, but that's a very important part of the case.
It's very important. In fact, all the other stuff they mentioned was minute. The gay, and this is what I feel like. This is why I say homophobia, because people could identify with the fear of quote unquote the gays, and that is why it was easy for him to get second degree, because they all identified with that level of homophobia.
I would have done the same thing if it were me. Yeah,
literally,
I wouldn't want a gay guy coming to talk to me.
Literally,
or whatever. And his dad. Okay, I'm sure you get onto his dad, but his dad is the real enemy here.
Oh yeah, his dad is. In fact, lock that man up.
Trash.
Literally, lock that man up. So Frank says that he agrees that Jonathan was a victim and a sacrificial lamb to the TV show. So Frank obviously again is Scott's brother. He says, that he shouldn't have been put in that position. And, you know, it's very forgiving of him. And I also agree to an extent, because when you call people to these shows, it's just like the guy who killed himself after going on the Jeremy Kyle show. You don't know the mental state people are in. You don't know how they're going to react to things. And they don't care, because all they care about is ratings and the money they're making. So it was unfair of them to put Scott in this position, because you don't know if this guy is a raving lunatic, and if the second he finds out the guy is gay, he's going to like blow up the whole spot. You don't know anything.
But then I think the way that they reckon with it is to say it could be like they said, it could be a man, it could be a woman. So their whole thing is, we've informed you of what could happen on this show, and so knowing these details, you are grown and you've agreed to come on the show, which I guess is how they can kind of be like, yeah, well, we didn't do anything wrong, you didn't have to come on the show, you didn't have to react that way, that those were your actions that you took. But then I wouldn't have taken those actions if I wasn't in the situation. But then you also didn't have to be in the situation, because you could have said no. So it's just like chicken and egg. Do you get what I mean?
It's literally, it's a circle of shit. So Scott's family decide to take the Jenny Jones show to court for a civil suit of negligence. So the family decides to contact Jeffrey Fieger, who is a character.
He is a character.
So when we got introduced to this guy, we see this montage of his office with like music playing and him talking.
It's like, you know,
and you don't
like
see
ads.
him.
It's like Better Call Saul.
I literally said it's like a perfume ad. Like, you see this montage of him. There are different pictures of him. There's one of him dressed as Napoleon. There's one of him as a cowboy. There's this topless one of him where he has ropes around him. Like, he is... And his voice, it's like a perfume ad. Literally.
It's like Guilty by Gucci. But it's also... It's also like literally those like American lawyer adverts.
Oh yeah,
like,
they did have the American lawyer, like Cool Soul.
It's literally Better Call Saul. Like, it's literally that vibe. Like, this man loves himself, and I can never be mad at someone for loving themselves. I mean, love yourself. Who else is gonna love you? But he loves himself, and he loves to tan, because what
he is him and Trump.
He's orange.
Him and Trump are like,
and you can see the progression. We see each other. Literally. You can see the degree of tanation, like, as time goes by. Because this documentary, good thing I would say is they have footage. They have footage, like they have everything. Footage.
In fact, I would say from here on, a lot of it is footage rather than
exactly. And the way it's filmed and everything, Netflix production quality is always going to be good. Do you know what I mean? Everyone could take a note from them, but they could also take notes in terms of like reducing times. But so much footage, and you can see like as time goes by, he just gets oranger, and his hair gets whiter. And it's just like, bro, you better chill. Yep.
So everyone calls him a press monger, which we've kind of alluded to, and he was even a drama major. So but we've had this conversation before, because I think we spoke briefly about the Gabriel Fernandez case, the documentary, and we just spoke about like how Fernandez. We spoke about how
Aaron Hernandez.
Oh yeah, we spoke about how like law in America, the courtroom is literally a showroom. It's not even about who has the best legal knowledge. It's about who has the most pizzazz, the best suit, and who can wow the jury. Everything else is for the bees. Like,
it's all about are you a good orator or no? Because if you can speak, if you can captivate the jury, then you can tell a good story, then that's it. It doesn't even matter what happened. Like, you got it. And also during this time in the 90s, this was like the time where it was like court TV trials. Like, remember OJ? If the glove don't fit, we must acquit. There was just like so many cases where it literally was like it was like reality TV. But literally, like, actually reality.
Literally, not like now where they say it's reality, but it's not. But it was really, this was really people's lives. So this is what I mean. Like, it's telling that he was a drama major, because it just shows you the qualities.
That, I was like, okay.
There we have it. It shows you the qualities. He wanted to be an actor. It didn't pan out. So he's like, what's the next best thing? Oh, a lawyer. Yeah. Literally.
And what's the next best thing? A celebrity lawyer, a high profile lawyer. That's the kind of vibe that.
That's it. And we learned that he would even take cases where he knew he'd lose just to have his name in the paper.
I was just going to say that. He's the kind of person where it's like, all press is good press.
Yeah. He's the kind of husband that would take longer in the bathroom than you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But come out shit.
Definitely.
So we see parts of the court case, because like we said, there's a lot of footage here. And Fieger definitely hammered on at the producers about their role in deceiving Jonathan and just what they had to do with the outcome. And James Feeney, he's the Warner Brothers defense attorney. He tells us that the show acted in a reasonable manner and the producers had no legal responsibility to protect Scott from any third-party harm.
Which I believe.
Literally, that's kind of their stance and they're sticking with it. The producers say they had no sign that Jonathan was dangerous when he left the show. There were rumours that Jonathan and Scott had slept together. And, you know, this would then absolve them of all guilt or responsibility if these rumours were true. But they turned out to not be true.
The validity of the truth of the rumour anyway.
Exactly. So we hear that after the taping of the show, Scott called his dad, and this is where I'm like, lock this man up, because this guy...
Throw away the key.
So his dad informed him... he informed his dad of the crush, saying that it was a guy. And his dad was furious. And he's basically like, this is embarrassing. Everybody's going to know, you know, people...
And it's like, what? That a guy liked me. What's that got to do with me?
I've said I'm not gay.
And what's that got to do with my sexuality?
Fam. He said that, you know, Scott needs... That Jonathan should be ashamed, blah, blah, blah. Then he uses a very, you know...
a gay slur.
Which we all know, starting with an F. And then he throws a chair. And basically, from what we gather, he kind of implies to Jonathan that you need to kill Scott. I don't know if he says it in like, oh, you need to kill Scott, start planning how you're going to do it. Or if he says it as like, that guy needs to die for this, blah, blah, blah. But either way, and this all goes back into understanding people's threshold, because either way, Jonathan is kind of like unstable. You say this to him, you make him feel like everything around him is crumbling because of this. And what's the next... And the thing is that the thing hadn't even aired. There were other ways to go about this. He could have...
But like you said, you're not thinking about it. And it's kind of like a pressure cooker. This is the dad who we find out, like, when he was in school, I think he did something wrong at home and his dad brought him into school and beat him in front of his class. So this is a man who enjoys embarrassing his son. But it's like he wants to be the only one who can embarrass his son. So he's saying, this kind of man that you've grown up with is saying, okay, well, no, you can't take this. You can't take this. How can you do that? Embarrassing you. Your life's going to be ruined, whatever. And so even if he doesn't say you need to kill him, what does Scott hear? You need to kill him. Like, I need to fight for my right, or I need to, you know,
literally, to
besmirchify my name. Literally.
And something that we see, a theme that we see at this point in the documentary is there's a lot of conversation around Jonathan's sexuality, because there's two sides to this. People are either saying he is closeted gay and didn't want his family to find out he was gay, or he just literally was straight and wasn't happy with this, because there had been questions about Jonathan's sexuality prior to this. So his family asked him, if he was gay. And again, I don't know if they asked him in a loving way, like, oh, like, you know, are you gay? Like, or if they asked him in a way that, oh, you never have any girls who you fucking like da 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 da. I believe it was the latter. And which is why he was afraid of his family.
I feel like it was the latter, because I think there was a bit where his dad was like, oh yeah, no, like John had plenty of females. He said females many times.
Female what?
Plenty of females around, and like when it didn't work out, it was because of them. Like, it wasn't him, it was because of them. And it's like, you know, that he could be gay and it could also be because of them, because they're women and he's not into women. So he literally was like, I want to make it clear, females. And I'm just like, what is wrong? Are you yourself, are you gay?
Do you know
I think
he reminds me of Todd Packer.
Yes
In the worst way,
but more dangerous.
Yeah,
because with Todd Packer you can kind of be like, oh,
there's an element of stupidity, so you know,
it's
there's
like,
a limit
to get on my face. Yeah, but this guy, dangerous. And the thing is that, like, even with his sexuality, I think it's not even a case of like, oh, he might have been gay and didn't want his family to know. I reckon it's a thing where it's like he wouldn't even admit to himself that he was gay. And it's almost like, you know, there's certain gay men who hate the fact that they're gay and also hate gay men as a result. And then, you know, like, or they it's like in Sex Education, the tall white guy, how he treated the black guy, because it's like, you were gay and you liked him, but he represented a part of you that you didn't like, and so you bullied him. It's kind of like that situation. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But this one ended in murder. So, and we also don't know his sexuality, so I'm not assuming.
We never find out.
Yeah.
So what we find that was really, really disturbing, so follow me with this one. Court TV, like we said, a show that followed court trials, was actually under the Warner Brothers Corporation. So they owned that
wild.
show.
They're making money off the money,
literally,
from the show.
So they were filming this court trial
which was based on
suing
their
them for their involvement
for their
in,
TV show that they also own.
So Frank was like, when you really deep it, these people were making money off of the issues,
the initial show,
which led to his brother's death. Literally.
Yeah.
So either way, he said that the ratings and reviews spiked at this point. So it was basically
of course
like
they did.
the ultimate fuck you to the victim, because either way they were
We're
winning.
making money. He's alive, we made money off that. He died, we made money off that.
Literally, either
Still
way,
dead,
we're
we
winning.
continue to make money off that.
So Jenny Jones comes to the stand finally, and it's kind of like what everyone's been waiting for. We see like news, everybody's like talking about this. They want to see like what Jenny is gonna say, blah blah blah. So she's obviously been prepared well. She has like the, smile on her face, very much still acting like she's on her what do you call it, her TV show. I don't know if you watch Bob's Burgers. Do you watch Bob's Burgers?
Yeah, I've watched a few episodes.
This court trial reminds me of when they went to court. Did you see the episode where they went to court? Because there was some
I
game.
haven't.
Yeah, there was. If you watch Bob's Burgers, you know the episode I'm talking about. They went to some game with Jimmy Pesto, and they lost the game. And because one of the presenters helped Jimmy Pesto win, then they go to court, and the court trial they go to is owned by the same media company that already. And literally, it's just a shit court. And it's the same thing. This court to me doesn't seem real. Obviously, it's a real court, but it all
doesn't
just
seem
seems
real
like
at all.
a show. Like,
Yeah,
it's a joke.
but it's how it was back in the day, especially in that time.
Literally. It reminds me of Arrested Development, the episode where they go to the court trial on the TV show.
It literally is a TV show. Yeah, it's a TV show.
Literally. So she's answering all the questions well. And then Viger was like, no, I'm going to have you. So he starts probing her, really probing her about how she kind of got them to react to certain things, the stuff she was insinuating. And when he starts probing her, Jenny becomes shocked. And he says this really, really good thing that I liked. He's basically like to her, are you smiling right now? And she's like, yes, I believe I am. And then he's like...
She's trying to be snarky with it as well.
Yeah.
And he's like, just you wait, young lady.
Just you wait, I got you a number. So
Literally.
he's like, you're smiling right now, yes. And she's like, he's like, are you happy? And she's like, I'm not comfortable. And
No,
he's
he
like,
said, are you nervous?
are you nervous? And she's like, I'm not comfortable. And then he's like, okay, so you can be uncomfortable and smile. So what does that mean for Jonathan in that situation? And then it was kind of like,
Because in the clip where he reacts, like he's smiling, and they're kind of saying, well, he was smiling, like he was happy, like he was fine. And he's proving the point to say, well, you're uncomfortable and you're smiling. So in the same vein, Jonathan could have also been uncomfortable even though he was smiling.
So I think the shift of blame starts to shift back to Jenny again, and she's looking really bad. And it's kind of like the consensus is she's using people for entertainment. So the Amjad family, after this case, is awarded 25 million, and Warner Brothers are found negligent for kind of their involvement in the death.
Yeah.
And everyone's kind of like, okay, we see a few clips of what's his face? Not the family. Jeffrey Feiger and James Fenney, like on talk shows, going back and forth about why this judgment this ruling was valid and why it's not, blah 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 blah. So on screen text tells us the case is taken to the Michigan Court of Appeals, and it is won by Warner Brothers, and the Amjad family receives nothing, because this then made, when I heard that they were awarded 25 million, I was thinking, why does Frank live in the house he lives in? Like, surely if they're awarded this money, each of them should have collected a few coins.
Yeah, at least a couple mil, yeah.
Literally. We meet Robert Leitcher. He's a director at this Center for Media and Public Affairs, and he says,
and there are a lot of things that are ethically, morally very bad, but are still legal, because it would be even worse if you tried to make them illegal.
So basically, there's some conversation around here from a few talking heads, and they're basically saying that this would be going against the First Amendment if this case actually passes.
It would set a dangerous precedence.
Exactly, a very dangerous precedence. And it's worse to remove with people's ability to kind of like do what they want and say what they want. Which, to be honest, I mean, I don't know how I feel, but let them burn the whole of that American Constitution, because it's outdated and stupid. So Fenney says there was no legal obligation by the show's producers to influence anything Jonathan was going to do, and the case should have been dismissed even before it reached the court.
And you can tell that she felt this way because even when she was on the stand, she kind of just like, why am I here?
Why am I here?
Like, this is
like,
very
I need to be
useless.
the hair and makeup at 10. Let's get this over
Yeah,
and done
exactly.
with. But for me, I feel like, and I think if it was in this day and age, they would have just settled out of court and given the family some money. I think back then things were kind of like the Wild Wild West, where a lot of things were just, you could get away with a lot more.
You could do whatever,
Because
yeah.
literally in this day and age, there'll be so many lawsuits and this and that and LGBT, and it would, they would have had to settle out of court. Mm-hmm. And obviously, like, Fenny's like, yeah, well, we saved a lot of money. It could have racked up to like 33 million. And it's like, you guys have so much money. Okay, and I'm not saying just because you have so much money, just give it away willy-nilly. But we'll discuss this at the end. So we're coming to the end of the documentary, and everyone says there's really no winner in this case. Like, you can sit here and see...
Well, except for Jenny Jones.
Except for Jenny Jones, who we'll get into her.
Well, how much longer did she win?
Yeah. So there's no winner here, and this court case kind of like has affected everyone. Somebody likens it to like an octopus with tentacles. Like, it touches far and wide kind of thing. So many people have been hurt and devastated by this. Yeah. And Frank says that he sometimes sits back and regrets the media involvement in the case and wonders if it was their mistake. Like, maybe if they hadn't been so quick to do interviews and talk, maybe the case would have gone a different way.
Right.
So the documentary does the thing I really like, that I know you like as well. The producer asks him if Scott was alive now, what would he be doing? And then he was like, you know what, he'd probably be working with you. He loved this kind of thing. And then it ends there. It ends with a few clips of like other shows. Now, Jenny Jones, because you know I love a goog. Jenny Jones, I went on her Instagram, seen what she's doing now. She's actually worth $10 million. So she's sitting pretty. But her show ended in 2003, which wasn't too long after this thing happened. Yeah, because
he died in 1995. When you think about all the appeals and the courts and stuff like that, it must have been like early 2000s.
Yeah, so she died. The show was cancelled. After that,
don't kill the bitch.
I was like, whew. After that, she never really went on to do much. Now she does like this YouTube and cooking thing, and that's pretty much her life. So you have to ask yourself, was it worth it?
Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. It's when you come on.
Okay.
If you got a big woo, let me search it.
You always take it too far. You've said one verse, one line.
No, but how can I not do the woo? How can I not?
Okay.
How could I not? Thank you.
Personally, for me, I feel like these shows, the whole premise of these shows are to exploit a certain group of people.
And that's why we watch it. So if you watch these shows, who are you to come and say, oh, it's trash? We know it's trash. And you're watching it for the reaction. Like, we probably would have watched that Jonathan episode and been like, oh, boo, next, because he didn't do anything. He literally was like, oh, okay.
I do think, though, there should be more kind of onus on the TV companies and production.
There will never be, though.
No, 100%. But there should be more to check the people you bring onto these shows, because the fact
maybe like a mental evaluation,
exactly,
or something.
You just don't know how people are going to react, and
but then it's almost they're depending on there to be some level of instability, so that they can get a reaction. So it's not in their best interest, perhaps, to think about the welfare or put the welfare of their guests first.
It's true. I mean, these shows don't even exist anymore. I think Murray still runs, but
Murray's still about. He will never go away. But in that case, it literally it's like paternity. It's like free DNA test. Why would you not go on it?
And now we have like divorce court, and I love a divorce court, and all of that shit. So yeah, guys, that was pretty much it.
Oh no, Jonathan was released from prison in 2017.
Yeah, they didn't say
22 years
on the pod. Did they say that in the documentary?
Yes, they did. Yeah, it was on screen text.
Oh, okay, I didn't see it. Okay, yeah, he was. I saw that. He was
released in 2017.
Yeah. So how old
was he 22 years. So that means that he's 24 plus 22. Well, maybe he was 25 by the time he went to jail. So 47.
He can still have a life.
Well, when he came out. So now he's probably like in his 50s, early 50s.
He could even have a wife and kids right now. Or a lover.
Yeah, that woman, that juror that liked him, let her bring her daughter for him to marry, since she wants a son like him so bad.
Since you want him so bad, but you fancy degree and you know everything. But yeah, guys, that was the documentary. I
liked it. It ended with a slideshow of pictures of Scott like throughout his life, which I thought was nice.
Yeah. I don't feel like there's much we didn't cover here that would mean that you should watch it. But I mean, you can watch it to
I
see
think the series is quite interesting. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen all the episodes in the series, and like it basically just talks about how, and this is the point I think Ferenz was making earlier, is basically about how the media has affected trials. And in this case, the media was basically the cause of the trial because it was a TV show. But that series is pretty good. Like, the episodes are quite different. Yeah, so I mean, I would, if you're bored.
Yeah, this particular episode, I would say watch it if you really are interested in having visuals of like what
Yeah, what everyone
certain
looks
things
like.
look
and
like, and like
good production
the
value.
clips and stuff like that. But in terms of like the content, I think we did a good job.
Yeah, we always do. Come on.
I mean,
that's
we
what
always do, but yeah.
That's our
But
jobs.
like, for example, like with last week's episode, I was very clear that do not go and watch this documentary.
Yeah, don't waste your time. They don't
Yeah,
deserve
but
the
with
views.
this one, like, you can. But if if you don't feel the need to, then
Yeah, but you basically know what happened already. You've heard it all.
Exactly. So what are we
Yes.
doing next?
Next, let me get it up because I don't remember what it's called. We are doing Execution, Lisa Montgomery's story.
This story is crazy.
Yeah, I watched the first couple minutes, and because now we're trying to like watch stuff before, so we don't come here to complain that it was shit. And yeah, so far it seems pretty good. So I'm gonna leave the trailer for that after this. But yeah, hold on to your seats for that one because it seems a bit
Chile.
wild. Chile, the
So
ghetto.
you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at 2girls1doc.
Good, and make sure you
What-
hashtag 2G1D as well.
Yeah,
if you
if
want
you
to have
wanna-
conversations.
Yeah. if you
And
wanna
we're
get
also on
involved.
Facebook too.
Yeah, we are. Where
Yeah.
can they find you?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at BD on Eyewear and also bdoneyewear.com. And we can find you
On Twitter and Instagram.
Hold on.
2.
underscores. Because you always say at Twitter.
Oh, do I? Did I say on this
No,
time?
you did it right. Yeah, you did it right this time.
Yay
babe.
me! And also,
Yeah.
guys, I also have launched a new podcast, Character Replay. So yeah, go and check that out. We do loads of Clubhouse rooms. First 2 episodes should be out now. So go and listen if you're interested in TV shows. It's all still kind of TV centric with me because that's all I do apparently. But yeah, guys, that's
Yeah,
where
thanks
you can
for
find
listening,
us.
guys.
Yeah, thanks for rocking with us.
Yes, I'm going to play the trailer for
trailer?
the next episode. Hold on to your seats. And we will see you in the next episode.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
It was midwinter, midday, 2004, as Lisa Montgomery drove through the desolate landscape of western Missouri and into the small town of Skidmore. A rope and a knife in her jacket. Inside this house lived a 23-year-old dog breeder, Bobby Joe Stinnett. Lisa said she had come to look at her puppies. But Bobby Joe was pregnant, and Lisa had come for her unborn child.
Nottaway County 911, what is your emergency? What's wrong?
She's just beside herself. It's too much. You know, you're listening to a mother that has just found their daughter dead. And that anguish. And it's just, yeah, I don't ever want to hear it again.